I thought this would be an interesting exercise. Maybe start by looking at the regional bank ETF because, we had Steiner come out, I think Friday, basically dispute that there's some larger issue here. But, there was obviously sell-off in regional banks, but what do you do with the asset class now or the ETF now in terms of, and how do you think about that as a signal for what kind of underlying issues might be happening or not happening?
Well, first of all, you can go back, let's just look at our experience with KRE.
Yep.
KRE is regional banks, right? So if you go back to, Genron, can you look up when we sold all of KRE? It was sometime before everybody knew everything about regional banks.
Yep.
Right? So I had, I'm not kidding you, 90% of the questions I got on when I sold KRE, I was long KRE, okay, before all this happened. And then I sold it all. 90% of the questions that came in through our ETF Pro subscribers and our institutional subscribers was why? It's quad 3-2-1. This should be good for regional banks. Why would you sell the banks? And my answer, 100% of 90% of those questions, 100% of the time was, I have no idea. I had no idea. I had no idea about Tricolor or First Brands or, whatever, Nutlick or, the Jeffries guys. Nothing. And I'm comfortable knowing nothing. Because when the signal is developing like that, something's coming. And you have to have the humility to understand it. So, ironically enough, Jonesy, this is a very good example because we went from long this to out of this. What I should have done was shorted it, but in that case, I'm not going to do that. I mean, if something breaks trend and I have no fundamental, then I'll just go to the things that are already broken trend. I'll just short more MSTR or MSTY, right? The Maestro. So there's that. Now it's broken from a trend perspective, KRE. It would have to get above, for trend for this one's right around 61. It's at 59. So it's bounced to 59, but it's inside of 61. I'm happy to buy it at 61.5, 62 and wait and watch between 59 and 61, right? The whole notion of I'm going to dip a toe or all this bullshit that you hear from people are people that have no receipts. They have no timestamps. Oh, I'd be ready to buy, I think Telecom Tom said, I'd be ready to buy regional banks. Well, weren't you long them since 2008? I mean, it doesn't, there's no rhyme or reason. But when you have positions, XLF is a very good example too. You don't have to have a regional banking crisis to have a bearish trend. I mean, that's a real straightforward concept, isn't it? Right? You don't have to have the end of the world because it's raining out. Not a novel concept, right? Only for markets. Right, so on XLF, I think that's the other one.
Yeah.
And XLF's got a lot of issues, right? I mean, you could say there's something going on at Berkshire in terms of that's a huge weight in the XLF. JP Morgan just signaled a lower high, but remains bullish trend. We're talking some of the heaviest weights. But again, I don't have to be long them. You do not have to be long them, and at the same time say that we're not having 2008 or SIVB regional banking crisis part 2 and 3. And if that starts to develop, then we'll set up for that. But fundamentally, I thought Steiner did a good job reviewing why that wasn't the case.
Thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.
Bye.